Okay, this next question comes from Kristen, and Kristen says, what are the pros and cons of owning an online copy/content agency? Is it a better decision to own an agency or work by myself? The background is I want to start a copy/content writing agency with a team of excellent and experienced writers to work alongside me. I am currently a freelance copywriter working with amazing clients, but want to grow with others and not freelance by myself forever. Okay, so some of the immediate pros of being a freelancer is you don't have to worry about anybody else. You sell a client your services, you only work with that client, you're responsible for the work, you don't have to worry about anybody else. That's one of the greatest pros of being independent and being a freelancer. Freedom of schedule, freedom, you just have a lot more flexibility when you're only in control of yourself and you only have to manage your own self. That's probably the biggest pro. The biggest con is you're going to limit the amount of money that you can possibly make unless you're in an industry that you can continue to increase the amount that you charge unlimited. So for instance, if people would be willing to pay you $100,000 for an hour of your work, then you could potentially scale that financially and you might make enough money. Kind of just food for thought. One of the pros and cons about leading an agency is you have to learn how to be a leader as opposed to just being a good copywriter. Owning an agency means that we understand all the different things that our agency is going to provide as a service to our clients, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to do all the work. We're going to leverage other people and their time to perform services on behalf of the agency to the clients of the agency. We as owners will bill it out to our clients at $1 amount, pay someone to fulfill it at another dollar amount, and we will keep the spread or the margin, if you will. It's a completely different mindset from selling a product, selling a service, and then performing the work. Now we are selling a service, managing a team of people that will do the work, and then we either ourselves will manage the client relationships, or even ultimately we may hire an account executive or project manager that will actually do it all. As an agency, eventually you could get to a place to where you're no longer even making the sales calls or doing the online marketing. You're no longer managing the projects for the clients. You're no longer actually talking to the clients, and you're no longer even doing the work for the clients, and you're making 100 times more money than you are today as a freelancer. The difference is just mindset and developing the skills in order to become a leader and understand how to run a company as opposed to perform just the one line item of services that you provide to your customers. It's a completely different mindset, a completely different skill set that's going to be developed. The cons of running an agency are now you have to manage people. Now you have to motivate people. You have to keep people organized. You have to give them a reason to work for you. You have to lead them. You have to babysit them sometimes. There's so many more tangibles that come into running an agency, and that could be looked at as a con. I see it as a pro because I really enjoy bringing people together and leading them and managing them. However, in the beginning, that could be a con that, gosh, I've got to make sure and bring the right people in. I've got to make sure that I'm making them happy and I'm treating them well and creating a great culture. Two completely different mindsets, two completely different skill sets. That would be the pros and the cons. But the major difference between the two would be the amount of income and revenue that you want to bring in ultimately into your business. As a freelancer, you're going to be limited, but you're going to have a lot more flexibility. As an agency, you're going to have unlimited income capability, and you are going to be even more flexible in the long term with hours and how many hours you work, but you're going to have to develop the skill set to lead and manage people. So those are the pros and cons in my opinion. I love the fact that you're thinking about this, Kristen, and I think it's a good direction for you at an early age to start learning how to develop these skills. You'll get to where you're like other members in the group that I had this conversation with them early on and said, hey, if you can build your company and build out your systems and processes, not only from an operational perspective, but from a sales and marketing perspective, in a few years, you'll get to where you're making more money than you ever have, and you'll be working less hours. A couple years later, several members of AO now understand because now they're living that reality, and they're like, damn, Shawn, I never would have thought that you'd be right, but you're right. And so we're happy that we did it. All right, I hope that helps. Talk to you soon.